I think I know who I'm talking with. Chelsey Lambert. You were originally with Total Attorneys.
Yes, way back when.
How long is way back when, though? It's not
13 years ago.
Wow, long time. Mm-hmm. I wanted to ask you some questions about, how you got started doing what you're doing now, which really is the concept of something did not exist and you created something.
Yeah.
What is it? I mean, so what did this thing is that you created?
Lex Tech Review.
Yeah, what's Lex Tech Review?
All right, so Lex Tech Review, and I mean, Kevin, we've known each other for a long time,
right.
and you've always kind of been a really incredible mentor and
that's scary.
Kind of, but awesome, just a career voice, for me of you meet certain people in the space, and I think networking, we've talked about that, is so important no matter what stage of your career. And you meet people and either what they're working on resonates with you, or you kind of see a way that you can apply their methodology to your world. And the blog, Lex Tech Review, came from my passion of working with legal tech products, building legal tech products, bringing them into the market, being a CMO or VP of marketing, being a trainer at the Chicago Bar Association, but then never really feeling like I had time or space or a voice or wasn't under some crazy non-compete to actually talk about all the products. So after working for software vendors for so many years, I finally didn't have a contract. And I found myself out in the marketplace. And the job that I had recently taken basically just didn't work out on either side. And I found myself in a place where I could either go get another job, or I could start this blog that I really wanted to. And I could talk freely about all the software solutions out there without having to worry about being somebody's competitor or having to say I work for this provider, so this is the greatest thing in the world.
But what made you go from, because you've been successful in the jobs that you've had.
Yeah.
You've left a great track record behind. So you go from, I could go get another position, whether it's in sales, leading a sales team, leading business development, Marcom, it could be training, whatever, and do quite well for yourself financially. You start Lex Tech's Review, your salary is zero. I mean, there's the revenue. Zero. It's a lot less salary. Mm-hmm. What makes a person say, I'll forego, a salary, benefits, and whatnot, and start at zero?
I wanted to have my own voice, and I didn't want to have it be influenced by whoever I worked for. And I felt really passionately about that, and my philosophy was, and we talked during this time, was that, this is either going to work out and it's going to be successful, and I'm going to figure out a way to monetize that, and that it's going to attract consulting clients to me, or it's going to help me get a job if I need to. And so from my perspective at that point in time, I was at rock bottom. I literally had nothing, and I was like, what do I have to lose, right? So I'm going to pour my passion into this. And I remember going home, and for 3 days straight, I did nothing but build that website, and this was all, I had blog content that I had started and I had never published, because I was like, well, it's not appropriate for me to say that.
How'd you keep yourself alive, though? I mean, whether it's a mortgage, rent, I have to feed myself. Mm-hmm. I mean, you have some savings left over from what you've done, so you're not destitute. But how does
moving cross country?
But how does a person just say, now that I don't have a job and I'm going to pour my heart into something, how do you get by? I mean, how does this mentally get by?
So I made a video on YouTube about it called Meet Your Tiger.
Okay.
And when you are in this place where you just literally don't know what you're going to do, and you have 2 weeks or a month to figure out how you're going to pay rent or whatever it is, there is this level at which you can operate that I don't think that you really realize until you're in that position. And so very much had this spirit animal side that came out where I would just work like crazy, and you start thinking about everybody that you know. And to be totally honest, I started a blog, and then I picked up the phone and I called every single person that I knew in the whole community. Just every single person. Hey, this is what I'm doing. And that turned into, we want to support you. Here's a small consulting project. Hey, can you do content writing? And really that's what led the business to where it is today. It was the demand of finding out. It was the combination of building something of value and sharing the expertise that I had online so that I had a property to direct them to. So it's like, hey, here's my online office. This is what I like to do. And then that just physical connection.
Was there a low point ever where you go, I don't know if this is going to fly?
Yeah, I mean, that moment was walking, back to my house, and I'll never forget. So there's, I follow a lot of authors, and there's a book called The 10X Rule by Grant Cardone, and it's the principle behind it is that it takes 10 times the amount of effort to do anything in life, and you also have to set your goals 10 times higher. And I had a moment where I was like, all right, look, you can either have a pity party for yourself and, try and get another job and take whatever comes to you, or you can give this everything that you have, and this is your moment. So either you can go home and stew about it and waste a week, 2 weeks, a month, cry to my girlfriends,
right.
What's happening, oh my gosh, or you could just suck it up and dig in and see where it goes. And that's really where that tiger was like, all right, I'm going to meet my tiger. I'm just going to get after it.
And when did you realize, okay, I think this is going to work. I can pull this off.
When I paid my rent.
When you paid your rent.
So I had made enough in that first 2 weeks. It was small milestones.
So the low point and the high point were pretty close.
So, to be totally truthful, I had moved my mother cross country with me, and I can laugh about it now, but I started having these nightmares where I was picturing my mother getting evicted and all her stuff being on the front lawn. And so every day I would wake up and I'd be like, pick up the phone, you got to call some more people, you got to do this, because I didn't want that to be. So it was after that first 2 weeks where I was like, oh, okay, made it, surviving, could pay the bills, can do this. And then I was like, all right, let's see if we can double it. And then that just became my thing.
So, you're running, you have Lex Tech Review where you're doing, reviews of various products, and it's a great value to companies out here that can't get that type of review or publicity for what they're doing, because you know what you're doing to get that done for them. That same type of thing, though, can apply at a legal tech company as far as quitting your day job or not going back to the day job and just starting something from scratch. What do you tell somebody that's thinking about, I think I'm going to leave what I'm doing. I think I'm going to start something new. What do you tell somebody that's thinking about that?
So, coming from someone who also tried to do startups while I had full-time jobs, it's all in or nothing. It is all in or nothing, and I think
so don't do the little bit while you have your real job.
Right. I mean, if people are going to lay the groundwork, they're going to lay the groundwork, right? They're going to start to put those pieces in place, but you're not fully present in either situation. And I think what really worked, for me is that.
Oh, I'm sorry.
What really worked for me was that I was looking at rock bottom, right? So there was nowhere to go, and every time, that I had tried to do it when I had a full-time job.
I'm sorry to laugh.
No, I mean, I can laugh about it now. We're good. But, every time I had tried to do it before, I had a safety net. Yeah. So there wasn't this, I use the tiger reference a lot. There wasn't a tiger chasing me or me being afraid of my mother being out on the street, now
couldn't go.
Right, exactly. So it was make it work or you're gonna go get another job. And I knew that I could go. I mean, luckily I'm really, really fortunate and grateful to be in a space where if I had to go get a position, I'm pretty sure, I could find, I'd say that I could find something. But, it was go all in, because you're just not, you don't have that same drive, you don't have that same fear of failure. You're kind of in a comfortable position where once you really, jump out of the plane, you have to make sure that, you're building that parachute on the way down or however.
That's right.
So.
Thank you much.
Oh, Kevin,
you're great.
Thank you so much. Thank you, as always.
That's a good story. Yeah, because